Dozens of companies send us smart tech every month, and today I'm going to show you the best we've found in the last month. Now, these should give you some ideas for automating your home and your life as we go through short reviews that'll tell you what these products are about, what they're great at, and if there is a big reason or two you might want to avoid them, we'll give you that too. Let's give her. This is Reolink's new Atlas PT Ultra. It has 4K UHD footage, a 20,000 milliamp hour battery, Wi-Fi 6 for connection to both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and onboard local storage at 512 gigabytes with 4 different options for local storage throughout your home. This is a bigger camera, but the mounting hardware and the physical design of this is impressive. Now, if those few specifications don't get you excited, let me explain what they mean to you. Wi-Fi 6 plus the big antenna here, and this design means I'm getting 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection over 13 meters away from the nearest Wi-Fi point in my home. This means I can stream all the time from the app with the top level video quality, and it's not slowing down the rest of my Wi-Fi products or the rest of my smart home. In my opinion, this is the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi experience we need from security cameras, and it's incredible here. Now, you can charge this with the included solar panel, and you can get about 24 hours with just 10 minutes of direct sunlight onto this panel. But you can also power this using the USB-C port, or if you want to just use the battery power, well, you get that massive amount. But one of the rare features here is that you're able to record 24/7 on battery power. And because this is such a big battery, you can actually get 96 hours of continuous recording. That's the first time I've heard anything like this. And most companies don't even let you record continuously on battery power. If you've never worked with Reolink cameras, then you probably don't know what the experience is like. Their visuals are probably the best from any company I've worked with that has smart home features. This camera is definitely no exception, and it has an incredibly bright spotlight that lights up the scene the right amount for where you're going to have this mounted. It's probably going to be far away from people. Now, the other part of the Reolink experience that I think is so important is that you can adjust how the footage looks. You can adjust the types of detections this camera will do, and those adjustments actually work. You can fine-tune this system to get exactly the events you want to get, and that is not the case with most camera makers who give you controls that honestly don't work a lot of the time, and even when they do, you don't get enough settings to really break things down. Now, this camera also has a pre-recording feature that gives you 10 seconds before an event takes place. It has color night vision with or without those spotlights, and the pan and tilt tracking has been second to none. It's really tough to get away from this camera, and the visuals are fantastic. That's because Reolink is a camera company first. Now, for those of you who want a great security camera, that's what this is. But if you're someone who uses Amazon and their smart displays, then you might not get every feature you've been after there. And that's the only drawback of Reolink for automators like lots of you. But I got a bunch more products for you as we discover the best new smart gear this month. I really did not think I was getting anything special with SwitchBot's wallet finder, but I sure was wrong. Now, this is a Bluetooth card that can slip into your wallet and can act as a tracker. You can also tie this onto a backpack or a bag, but I really like how it's slipped into my wallet. Now, this is an extra one that I've had for a while, and it had a terrible tracker. So this is a massive upgrade. But while this is a tracker and it does work with Apple's Find My service, I found a number of things that I liked even more. Now, I'm using an Android phone, so I'm not even using the Apple Find My portion of this. But when you tap in the SwitchBot app to find this card, it rings the card, and that would be a fairly normal feature. But I can also double tap this little button to find my phone. Of course, your phone and your wallet finder card have to be within Bluetooth range for this to work, but that turns it into a phone tracker if you ever lose that. But I like the idea of sticking a couple of these around your home, and if you're someone who loses your phone all the time, this is a pretty quick way to locate it. Now, the lost mode might be the best feature, and it's such a simple implementation by SwitchBot. They didn't make this too complicated. So basically you turn on lost mode, and if anyone scans this QR code, they will get your information to contact you and to return your wallet or whatever this was attached to. Hopefully you find a good Samaritan, and hey, I'll return your wallet if I ever find it. The second best feature though is with SwitchBot's locks. You can scan this on the keypad that you get with those locks, and it can unlock your door. That replaces a separate NFC card that you get with these locks, and I love that I now have a dual function card with me in my wallet all the time. So I'm actually gonna go place the Lock Pro on my garage door now and use this little solution. There's also a couple of automations for you for when you return home. So you can turn on or adjust a lot of SwitchBot's products just by having this card come home with you. Hello automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and my goal on the channel is to save you time and money on your journey to live smarter. The way we're doing that today is by introducing a number of products to you and giving you the big reasons you might love them, and then giving you a few reasons you might want to stay away. We're also here to show you some of the best in the industry, and that can be hard to find out about. So we get all these products sent to us, and this is how we distill it down for you. Now, that SwitchBot card, I think the only issue is that you would have to have this Bluetooth card within range of your phone for lots of those features to work, and each person is gonna need their own card, really. It's not a big hang up, but something to consider. Now, a lot of the automations you can run will also require a SwitchBot hub. So you're kind of in for a penny and in for a pound, as it were. But let me show you a product that you can buy on its own. And I promise, this one is worth every penny. I often don't get influenced by influencers, but I saw Lou over at Unbox Therapy showcase this BlueAnt SoundBlade. This fit what I wanted my desk to look like perfectly. This is essentially a sound bar that goes under your computer monitors or really any sort of screen. And it's not the loudest or the craziest speaker on the planet, but it is very simple to use and it does look great. Now, what's smart about this isn't what we as automators would traditionally call smart. It doesn't connect to an app and it doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. But what it does is make it easy to play from multiple sources. So this is a Bluetooth speaker. Just tapping this button allows it to shift between
connected.
There you go, the different inputs that this speaker has. So you saw, I just changed it to Bluetooth. It instantly connected to my phone. Let me show you what it sounds like. It's pretty loud. Now this is about 30% volume and the sound quality is really high. You can feel the speaker, so kind of fun to do in the middle of it playing. And it actually does sit there and vibrate. Very cool. Okay. With a tap of the button here, I've been able to switch between watching videos on YouTube on my phone to watching YouTube videos on my PC. It's just tapping this button. Now it comes with 3 connections, and 2 of those are for computers. One of those is a little 3.5 millimeter connection, and the other one is a USB-C, which I've been using mostly. Now that'll give you some ideas for using this around your home, but my favorite thing is still that this can sit under my monitor. They give you a couple different sets of legs. You can see there's a taller one here and a shorter one here. So it's going to depend on the height of your monitor and that monitor stand, which one you want to use here. Either way, you know, I think that this looks incredible. It sounds incredible. Maximum volume. There you go. You're ready to go. But I think it looks really sleek down around your monitors. So this has been a great addition to my home, and it's working really well with the next product I want to tell you about. We recently looked at 2 pro-level light strips from Govee, and they're wild. Now, I know most people think that a light strip has to look like what's called the Strip Light Pro 2. Now that has some incredible features, but I think we need to start shifting our view on what a light strip should look like. The one I love the most is this COB Light Strip Pro, which has 1260 LEDs per meter. Now, when you look at this light strip, it's completely smooth. The lighting effects never look fragmented, and those 1200 plus LEDs are driving that every meter. Now, the other thing that helps with this is this silicone cover that's helping to diffuse the lighting just a little bit. That and the fact that this is one of the brighter light strips available today means that you can use this in some really different ways in your home versus those traditional light strips. I think this is a light strip that looks good enough to actually be a focal point of your home and not look like some weird piece of tech. It can blend in, and that smooth look and feel means that it adds to the character of your home, not take away from it. It of course has all of the crazy effects that we get from Govee, and it can synchronize with lots of their other products, whether it's movie watching or music playing. Now I've been using this to synchronize with another Govee product that I got last year called the Gaming Sync Box. That's letting me use it with video games that me and my son are playing together, and I love the look of it along the edge of my desk. It's also Matter compatible, and this is a direction that Govee has been moving in for a little while here. I think this is really important for Govee to get out there and to work with more platforms. Now, the only drawback to that Matter compatibility is you don't get access to all of the different effects in those Matter ready systems. So it's just on and off brightness and the color adjustment, but there are some sneakier ways that you can get those effects to turn on using some of the features in Govee's app. You can see what I mean by that in our full review, which again is down below in the description. But this is my favorite light strip ever, and that's saying a lot. We did a full review on this robot vacuum and mop combo unit called the Narwal Freo Z Ultra. It is by far the best robot I've had in my home. Now, Narwal has always had the very best mopping in the industry. As far as I'm concerned, you know, this unit carries on that tradition. These rotating mops and the application of water in a number of different ways, plus their specialized cleaning product, it makes this mop nearly perfect. They also swing the backside of the robot around to make sure they're getting right along the edges of your wall. So believe me when I say the mopping is awesome. What hasn't been perfect with Narwal in all cases is their vacuuming. It's not that I find their vacuuming to be bad or anything, it's just not top of the industry. But they've raised the suction power up to 12,000 pascals with this latest model. And what they've done with the sensing and the navigation system on this unit has improved both the vacuuming and has made this specific version something you never have to help and really never have to maintain. Now, Z Ultra has this dual camera and an infrared sensor on the front. They have a full LiDAR sensor on the top of the unit, and of course they have things like fall sensors plus more sensors that are typical for robot vacuums. Then they have combined that with what was described to me as an Xbox level processing system. That all sounds fancy, but if it doesn't result in anything for you, then who cares, right? But this is the first robot that I've had in my home that I can truly say I have not had to save it from any situation. I can throw objects in front of it and it reacts and adjusts its cleaning pattern and still cleans very close around that object. And oh my God, someone threw a bowl in front of us. Let's see what it does. Oh, it's pushing it around. But it has reacted now. You see that difference? I can leave cables out and it analyzes with that dual camera system and then reports that it found that into the application. Even better, if that cable is gone the next time, the unit still cleans where that cable was. So it's constantly making decisions and it's constantly making good decision. It'll even adjust how it's cleaning based on the type of mess that is out on the floor. So if you put out a dry mess like I have or a wet mess, it actually deactivates part of the robot vacuum to make sure that those components that it doesn't need don't get dirty. This is on top of a really impressive base station that takes care of basically everything. You're not gonna have to change the vacuum bag more than a couple of times a year. And Narwal is really good at making sure all of the wet and dry material that they pick up from your floors are kept separated. So you're not gonna get any clogging in either the robot vacuum or the base station. And the base station is heating the mopping pads and drying out the vacuum bag. So none of those components are building up bacteria that they then go and spread around your home. The crazy thing is that for the next little while, there's a deal where you can get $400 off of this in the US and a similar amount in Canada. In the US, that makes it under $1,100, which puts it in a price range that I kind of don't understand for the performance. This one's great, guys, and if you've been considering upgrading your robot vacuum, this is a great one. You might be noticing that our studio looks pretty different than it did, and we're still completing things, which tells you why there's a giant hole back there. But this is actually the first video I've been willing to film in here because we've managed to get all the drywall in, we've managed to paint, and actually just tomorrow, we're gonna have that plug filled in. I should have probably waited to film. We're gonna put up some shelving and some interesting things for you guys to have a look at behind me. So as we go, we're gonna give you a grand tour of the studio, but it's a little rough looking right now. I am excited to start using this space, and I think it's gonna look a little better each time you see it for the next couple of months. I actually have a product, a smart product that's coming in next month that we're gonna place back there. I'd love to hear what you guys think that's gonna be. And just to give you a couple of clues here, it's gonna let us place products on it, and it's gonna light up the wall even more than we already have it. Let me caveat this next product with the fact that it's probably too expensive for most people. It's not a game changer for a lot of people, but if you think about it, you could bring a mobile printing studio with this. It's called Phomemo, and it's a thermal printer. I'm gonna show you here how I connect through Bluetooth into the app. It has a rechargeable battery on it, and it allows me to print essentially anything. Now, I've selected a picture. I'll talk about this thing next month. So I just turned on my printer, and now I've got to select it in the app. You can see it's making a Bluetooth connection here, and then I'm gonna be able to just print this out. Now I gotta get my paper out. And it was really nice to see, actually, it says on the back here, this is not the side that you're printing on, which actually, when you look at this, you're feeding it kind of upright. I can't remember, is it the back? I think it's this way. Yes. So now it's fed in there. Now I'm going to hit print. and out it comes. This thing's wild. I love stuff like this. I'm such a sucker. You can't see it yet. Look at the detail, actually. That's actually really good. There you go. Now you can feed in multiple pages and stuff. So this is Phomemo. Obviously it's black and white because it's a thermal printer, but really neat little device. It doesn't have to be plugged in. There you go. Completely, it's filled with a big battery, so it's a mobile office. This next one is a pretty simple light switch, but it has a specialized purpose. Now, from my perspective, Lutron Cassetta, one of the best brands out there in the smart home. And I say that because I've never had a light switch fail or any product from them fail ever. It just works, and there's some reasons for that on a technical basis, so feel free to ask if you're wondering about that. I want you guys to have that reliability in your own homes. So that's the big reason to look at the new ELV Plus Diva switch from Lutron Cassetta. It'll require one of their bridges, but this is essentially the same switch that I've shown you in the past with the Diva. Now the Diva is a dimmable smart light switch, okay, with some really nice features on it. It's a clean look, but this little bar on the side, it lets you adjust the brightness that the switch will come onto when you tap on it to turn on your lights. You can double tap to go full brightness. The ELV Plus is important because it can help with ELV, MLV, and other dimmable light sources. Now that sounds the same as other switches, but ELV stands for electronic low voltage lighting. A good example of that is track lighting with a 12 volt requirement. MLV stands for magnetic low voltage. So what you should be hearing is that this can do lots of low voltage lighting. And because Lutron knows what they're doing electrically, this little switch can do both front and reverse phase dimming. And you won't be hearing a bunch of buzzing from those lights. An electrician can help you do this if you're not feeling confident about doing these kinds of things yourself. Now, for me, I think I'm going to eventually install some cabinet lights, and because I'm going to put Lutron switches throughout my home, I'm also going to put some of their shades throughout my home right away. This is all going to play really nice. One of the other exciting things about their system is that you can use their Pico remotes. So if you have any of those, you can give yourself additional control points. These have 10-year battery life, so you can place this on your countertop and they can work together in conjunction. So you have one in the wall and one on your counter, and it works, and it's incredibly reliable. When I say Zigbee and then I say presence sensor, a lot of automators' ears perk up, and that's because most of the presence sensors out there today are communicating using Wi-Fi. But Aqara has been improving their presence sensors over the last few years, and they released this new upgraded version a little while ago. I don't love the cable. I think the cable is the biggest problem on this unit because it's 7 feet long, and you're going to have to deal with it because it's attached forever. Now, I would have appreciated a connection point that was tucked in behind the unit, but if you can deal with that with some cable channel or some way to hide that cable, this is a fantastic sensor. Now the FP1E is easy to configure, it's easy to install, and easy to get right. And I think one of the biggest problems with presence sensors to date is that there's some extra configuration. You have to really worry about things around your home interfering with them. Now I'm not saying that interference won't happen with the FP1E because it's a radar-based sensor and that can still have that problem. I haven't had it at all with this, and I've been using it for a little while now. Instead, it has learned, and I've been able to tell it when it's made those kinds of mistakes or it's had some interference in the room. And the way the app works makes it really easy to tell the app it needs to ignore a fan or a heater or something like that. The other big benefit of this sensor is that it works in Aqara's app, and that app now has a lot of power, especially if you buy one of their M3 hubs. The reason I say that is because that hub can bring in all kinds of Matter products now, and then you can use that automation engine, which is very good in Aqara's app, with just about anything that works with Matter. It's now a platform that we can be a little excited about. So if you'd like to see a little more about this sensor, we have a review link down below. Eufy has always been known as a really strong camera option, and what they've done with their most recent S3 Pro cameras has me really excited to have these, but also for the future of security cameras. Now let me start with the big reasons that these are an improvement over previous Eufy cameras you've had or you've seen. This solar panel, this keeps them charged. It's very hard to have these cameras drain down fully. They'll stay fully charged with just an hour of direct sunlight every day. And if you're not able to get that in wherever you're going to install these, it's almost a year of battery life that you're going to have before you have to charge them. Now, the second thing that gets me with these is the incredible night vision. I love the new adaptive spotlight for a few reasons. Now, not only does it keep the scene looking right because it changes brightness as the subject requires it to change, but it also lets the subject know that they've been spotted and that they are specifically being tracked as the light changes. The other night vision option is called daylight, and in this mode the camera shows no sign of being active. It doesn't show any IR lights like traditional cameras, so it's completely hidden. The fact that it can produce this high quality of video in the dark is wild. That's on top of the way this system keeps your camera traffic off of your Wi-Fi, which is so important. And you know, most people who use 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi cameras in their home note the slowdown in their network, and sometimes they can't even get those cameras to stream. That doesn't happen here. All of the recordings go on to this home base that you get with the kit that they sell. Now that home base has onboard storage at 16 gigabytes, but you can also upgrade that with a physical hard drive all the way up to 16 terabytes. There's so much more to this, including things like the hardware that you get for mounting this. It's all really good. You get a solar panel that can actually be used to charge these if you want that too. It's a complete security package, and I think Eufy's kind of hit their stride. We have a full review on this system. You can check that out at the links below, but this is impressive. A little while ago, Tapo, which is a brand owned by TP-Link, released 2 video doorbells, and the pricing on these are insanely low. They put them in the same pricing bracket as things like the Blink video doorbell. Now, my favorite of the two is the D225, which is either battery powered or wired in if you'd like to do that. Now, I have it wired in to my home, and that allows me to do recording 24/7. Now there's a little nuance to that, and the nuance is that you won't be able to use your home's existing chime to have that ring when the doorbell goes off if you turn on that 24/7 recording. Now that might be a problem, but hey, Tapo gives you a chime that connects to your home's Wi-Fi, and you can use things like Amazon and Google smart displays to have them ring when your doorbell goes off. And I also have my Amazon smart display showing the feed whenever someone's coming up to the home or whenever they ring the doorbell. So those kinds of automations can be built, and it lets you monitor your home. And I think that's the biggest benefit that there's been for me. I'm getting good notifications when there's motion or people outside of my home, and it's been really reliable. That's what I want out of a video doorbell. And the other things I want are things like recordings being put onto a little SD card, and the fact that none of this is costing me a subscription. So this is absolutely my choice for a budget video doorbell right now. And if you want to go even cheaper, yeah, you can get the battery version with the D210. Loses that 24/7 video recording, but otherwise things are pretty similar. Now, from my perspective, the video quality on these far surpasses other budget video doorbells that I've worked with. I've had a ton of those, and I think the only gap that I've seen in the visuals is that, you know, out to the street, sometimes that can look a little bit bright during the day, but anyone coming up to my home, the visuals look great, and I've been impressed with the footage. I'm keeping this on the front of my home, and I have access to tons of video doorbells, so the fact that I'm doing that should say a lot for you. Again, we have a full review on both of these, so you can check that out at the links in the description. Those are my favorite smart home products from this month. But if you'd like to see more great tech, check out the video that's up on screen now, which is last month's version of this video. Check out all the links below for full reviews of these products, and of course for the links to go look at them on the different stores. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, live smart. Okay. Cut.